It's fun watching anime characters put their all into fighting stronger villains, but that doesn't get your blood pumping anywhere near as high as when overpowered anime characters can't control their powers and beat everyone to a pulp. Like when Mob lost all control of his psychic abilities and psyched out to over 100% when his brother was in danger. Koyama was hired to capture Mob's brother, and when Mob wasn't able to make him listen with words, peace was never an option. He smashed Koyama against the ground with his telekinesis and then lifted him by his face and threw him against what used to be a sturdy wall moments ago. Koyama tried to break free, but Mob's grip only grew tighter. And then when they reached high altitude, Mob dived back to the surface with Koyama's head in his hand like a meteorite and sent the poor kidnapper right into oblivion. I mean, what else would you expect from Mob at 100% hostility? But if you think that was overpowered, it's nowhere near as overpowered as Hiakimaru's rage that will come later in the video. For now though, let's talk about when Shinra was under mind control and went on a rampage. The first pillar somehow managed to get inside Shinra's head through an $1 link, and being the narcissist she is, she manipulated Shinra into letting out all that anger he had cultivated over the course of 12 years. Shinra was consumed by flames and madness and went right at Captain Soichiro, with kicks and jabs at full strength. The whole building would have burnt down if the captain hadn't taken things outside. We always knew Shinra was overpowered, but who would have expected this? The damage wouldn't have been catastrophic if Arthur hadn't arrived when he did. Arthur and Shinra battled it out, and Arthur managed to land a blow on Shinra's abdomen. Somehow, that still didn't knock out the hothead, so Arthur tried reaching out to Shinra through a heartwarming speech, which managed to calm him down. And if Shinra's fiery passion was unstoppable, wait till you hear about Nezuko awakening her true powers to save Tanjiro. As if Mob saving his brother wasn't enough, Nezuko just had to one-up Kageyuma. Tanjiro was bruised up badly, so being the good little 12-year-old demon sister Nezuko is, she stepped in and kicked the living hell out of Daki. Her bloodlust was uncontrollable, and Daki became the perfect punching bag. Stomping more like it since Nezuko kept hammering away her feet on Daki's face. Daki even cut her into pieces, hoping that would finish her off, but Nezuko regenerated in the blink of an eye and continued pummeling Daki. The entire fight was Nezuko stomping, kicking, and throwing Daki around the entertainment district. And speaking of overpowered demon overload, Astor losing control of his demon powers fighting Dante was way more terrifying. Dante attacked the Black Bull's HQ to capture Yami, but because he wasn't there, he decided to toy with Astor and the others. One thing led to another, and Dante easily overpowered the Magic Knights. And then with his boot on Astor's face, he used his gravity magic to pierce Gauche with Astor's sword. Bad move, Dante. We all know how Astor reacts when somebody hurts his friends. Long-range attacks, anti-magic beams, and sword slashes. Astor started to hurl his sword in every direction. It was as if he went berserk. The entire surroundings of the Black Bull's hideout were annihilated in the process, but well, Astor didn't seem to care much. Astor then readied an anti-magic tornado and suddenly landed a blow on Dante after closing a huge gap in an instant. His rampage was short-lived since he managed to get the hang of himself, unlike Hero, who goes crazy every time he uses his Dragon Heart. Like, his frenzy is on a whole other level. While trying to stop Namuko from enacting his evil plans to absorb the equally evil Daganzord, some of Hero's friends fell under Namuko's mind control. Daganzord lent Hero his aid once again, but like always, Hero couldn't handle it and started attacking everybody in sight. Yes, that includes poor Sarato as well. In the time Daganzord was helping Hero, Namuko managed to harness Daganzord's power instead and became far stronger. And the first one to fall by his hand happened to be Sarato. Talk about bad luck. Hero snapped out of his rage and after having a moment of realization charged directly at Namuko with the legendary Koku blade and slayed Namuko. He got Daganzord's cool powers back, but in all honesty, They aren't even half as overpowered as when Issei's Red Dragon Emperor spins out of control. Xiaoba started an assault to wipe all impure demons out of existence, but Asia happened to be caught in the misfire and, well, she disappeared. This enraged Issei unimaginably and triggered his Red Dragon Emperor's Juggernaut drive. Issei lost all control of his draconic powers, and hell, he even looked like a dragon. He rushed straight at Xiaoba and tore his right arm off. Issei's Juggernaut drive helped destroy the battlefield, but his balance breaker still kept on boosting his powers, and after a devastating windup, Issei fired his overpowered Longinus Smasher beam at Xiaoba, KOing him on impact. We'll have to admit, Issei's Juggernaut drive is scary and powerful, but Hiakimaru's rage when Mio was killed sent shivers throughout our spines. Hiakimaru and Dororo returned home to a burning temple being invaded by the neighboring army. The invaders had just killed Mio after falsely assuming she was a spy, and little Dororo, on seeing her lying lifeless on the floor, ran towards her. A troop tried hurting Dororo, but Hiakimaru, out of nowhere, cut down the man's arm, and his blood spilled everywhere. Thoughts of Mio kept appearing in Hiakimaru's head, and he just cracked. Hiakimaru started yelling and chopped up all the soldiers present in the temple. Someone's head was missing from his shoulders, another's belly was split wide open, and Hiakimaru pierced a dozen others' hearts with his hands. It was like watching a massacre unfold, and that's a pretty perfect moment of when overpowered anime characters can't control their powers. Fair warning before we go ahead, next up is when Akira unleashed the devil inside him. And if you thought Hiakimaru was one, you'll be surprised. Akira went to a rumored demon nightclub with his bestie Ryo to film and expose the abominable creatures to the world. However, things went sideways really fast and the legendary demon Amon consumed Akira. But somehow, Akira's pure heart managed to overwhelm the demon and took its powers and personality. And that transformed Akira into the nefarious Devilman. As Devilman, Akira's appearance, strength, and state of mind became unnaturally sinister and overpowered. He ripped out the heart of one demon and tore the others apart, wreaking absolute carnage in his wake. You may think that Akira looks like the strongest demon around, but he is nothing in front of the OP demon, Lord Diablo. Just like every other anime, our infamous demon Lord Diablo gets overly upset when someone puts his friend in harm's way.
Who cares, brother? Who cares? Today, smash.
Gregor, the oh-so-powerful fallen wizard, did just that. But little did he know he'd have to face off against Demon Lord Diablo. Diablo was pissed, and being the OP meathead that he is, he reflected Gregor's attack back at him and then unloaded his devastating dark bullets. Gregor begged for his life, but Diablo wasn't having any of that, especially not from anyone who tried to hurt his harem. So he got angrier than before and killed Gregor with his ultimate darkness spell, Naraku. Talk about overkill, huh? Saving your friends, protecting them, taking care of them. Every time it's the same old stuff. These guys should be more like you, who stabs his friends for a change.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
Yeah, you heard that right. You went bonkers after he saw that the vampire nobles were pummeling his squad mates. The one-winged being inside him awakened, and he wasn't himself anymore. In this monstrous form, he couldn't distinguish friend from foe, so he swung in random directions. He still remembered Crowley beating his friends though, because that's who he went after right away. Yu was way overpowered now, and easily managed to drag Crowley across the ruined city, kick him in the waist, and relentlessly slash his katana at him. Then he spaced out for a bit, and unluckily, Shinoa was nearest to him. Since he didn't remember she was his friend, he slowly made his way over to finish her off. But just as he motioned himself to stab her, Mika took the blade to his heart. Good thing Mika is a vampire, so he survived and Yu eventually came back to his senses.